Good evening to all our wonderful viewers all over the world, and welcome to Face to Face. This is the program where we frontally discuss political and social issues in Nigeria. This weekly program is brought to you every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Nigerian time, anchored by my humble self, Prince Ewemade Konkon. Today's topic is Meet a Nigerian who has a different view about the situation in Nigeria. Before I bring the guests, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Nigeria. Nigeria are very angry about the present situation in Nigeria. However, they are also part and parcel of the problem that we face today. It is time to stop the blame game and focus on the solution. My guests, a special guest I'm having here in the studio today, is Comrade Nosa Ota Osaikuiwu, a former student union activist at the University of Benin, was one of the student leaders who led the SAP, which is the SAP demonstration against the IBB. Those of you that knows about the IBB era in Nigeria, IBB, the Military Junta, led by General Ibrahim Babagida. He was arrested and detained for 47 days at the DMI, Directorate of Intelligence Service in Nigeria, where he met with the NANS president, Salhu, Lukeman, Mohammed, the current secretary to the APC Governors Forum today. Mr. Ota Osaikuiwu, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate this opportunity here to share my thoughts.
Thank you, my brother. How are you today?
We're doing fine. We give thanks to God. We look forward to a brighter future.
What part of the continent are you joining me today on this program?
Currently, I'm joining you from North America.
Thank you so much. We all as Nigerians, we complain about the situation in Nigeria. We blame the government for their failures. We blame every past leaders in Nigeria. But there's one thing that we Nigerians, we have failed to do in the past. We've failed to recognize that the situation in Nigeria did not just occur or did not just happen overnight. We as Nigerians, we are also part and parcel of this problem. We are part and parcel of this problem because we lack the moral decadence is no longer there in Nigeria, in the society, today's society. We lack the will, the zeal, and the rule of law. These are some of the things that we don't uphold to today. So my brother, it is very interesting, and it's easy for we Nigerians to blame those in power. Those in power today, they were once like you and I. They were once like you and I. They were just privileged to work their way into the system. But before they became part and parcel of the present administration, they were just like you and I, like I said. There's one thing that we must all recognize: the attitude of individual, the attitude of Nigerians. Because that is why we are where we are today. Because we no longer watch out for our neighbor's kid. We no longer uphold the values that we were taught by our parents. We no longer see see wrong and say it is wrong. We see wrong and we say we clap for it. We clap for those who are committing this atrocity. Everything boils down to the moral. What have you learned from your household? What was taught? I mean, what did your parents teach you as a kid? All these lessons are some of the things that we fail to recognize in today's society. Nigeria did not just become the capital of the poverty capital of the world today because of Buhari-led administration or because of Jonathan-led administration. People contributed to it. So my brother, what do you think are some of the problems faced by Nigerians? Or how did we get there? Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I will say here that the problem in Nigeria today is very severe. Nigerians are going through a very tough time, both in terms of finances, in terms of cost of living, and of course, you add the security angle, which is also a very big challenge to the nation. But I would like to take a holistic view of the problem in Nigeria. As you mentioned in the bio intro, I started as a student union activist in my early days, and I was one of those who believed then that the problem with Nigeria was that of our political leaders that were corrupt and incompetent and unwilling and unable to deliver services to the people. Why that still remains true, let me repeat for clarity so that people do not say, oh, well, this man is just defending the corrupt leaders. No, let me make myself categorically clear that we have had failed leadership since our political independence from Great Britain. Successive governments in Nigeria have failed to deliver goods and services to the people. That is not in doubt. However, what Nigerians have failed to realize is that despite the failure of these political leaders, the biggest contribution to the failure of the political leadership are the Nigerian people. Because in my humble opinion, our biggest problem, as I've said, or I've said in other fora, is our culture as a people. We need to have what I term a cultural revolution or transformation for us to begin to provide or provide solutions to our various problems that are bedeviling our society. Then the question becomes, well, what role does this culture play in our political leadership? I'll give you a very short inference here. When a particular candidate is running for office in Nigeria, he comes to the people and says, okay, I am running. The expectation is that you will give money to constituents, you provide bags of rice and bags of beans to these constituents in order to earn their vote, either for your political nomination from your political party or as you are seeking the running in the general elections. Now, that may seem simplistic, but however, by that very exercise, what the population has done is issuing a license to the political contestant to loot when he gets to office. Because the resources he has spent to give out those largesse in terms of 5,000 naira here, 10,000 naira here, and bags of rice, is going to recoup them either by hook or by crook when he gets to office. So my saying is that when you accept those gifts, you have basically issued him a license to loot when he gets to the office. Now, generally speaking here, let us look at what is culture. Culture can broadly be defined as the value system of a society, the ways, the norms, the traditions, and how we do things in any given society by a given set of people. So if that is a culture, then what is it in our culture that has led to the present situation that we are today in Nigeria? Because frankly speaking, if you look at it, I term it generally as a culture of permissibility, which means anything goes. If you do anything, if you are caught stealing or looting public resources, people will say, oh, well, now in turn be that, and God don't bless them, wait for your turn. That's a culture of permissibility that should not be allowed to stand. Because when you allow that, what you are therefore doing is you are perpetuating the corruption index. You are perpetuating the culture of corruption, which means that when the next man gets there, he now says, okay, it is now my turn, therefore let me also loot. So if we want to solve our problem, we need to now come back and say, okay, what is it we must change so that we can move our nation forward? One, I would say personal responsibility and accountability. Let's ask ourselves this question here. We complain that, oh, Nigeria has failed us. I don't dispute that. But rather, I would say Nigerians have failed Nigeria. And when I say Nigerians, it includes the political leadership. It includes all strata of society that we have failed. We have failed the younger generation that are coming up, our kids that are coming, our parents have failed us. So we need to take personal accountability and say, what have we done wrong and how can we make a change? So I say, if you are a teacher, being paid by the public coffers. You must teach well, do your job, and provide proper training and proper academics to our children. If you're a police officer being employed by the country, then you must do your job thoroughly without fear or favor. Discharge your duties as enshrined in the Constitution. If you are a businessman, you must conduct yourself ethically and you must do the right thing. We must all ask ourselves, is what I am doing right for this country? Is what I'm doing, will it promote good governance in Nigeria? How does my action today help this country? When we begin to ask this series of questions, I will begin to look at our moral conduct, both at an individual level and societal level, what we permit. Okay, why should, for instance, a child that is 17 years old who is not working be having a cell phone that is 200,000 naira? We must ask, where did you get this money? Okay, or somebody that is not working is living in a mansion and driving a 5 million naira car. Then the question is, okay, how did you get these resources to be able to sustain this lifestyle? We should not celebrate them. Rather, we must begin to celebrate hard work, appreciate teachers, laborers, those who sweat to earn their money, not those who, by miraculous inventions, stumble upon wealth, which we cannot account for. I will stop here and let you redirect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my brother, for that. From your own analysis, it seems that we lack we lack discipline and decency in the society. I think those are one of the key issues that is really facing the generation of today. They do no longer see the need for hard working. They prefer to go for the quick money and be celebrated by the public. However, it wasn't like that in our days growing up. In Nigeria, changed from they took a dive from 90-degree to 360-degree round. The situation on ground today is it's really appalling, and it calls for all hands on deck, including their parents. Our parents also have a role to play in this. The society, our so-called religious leader, they have a role to play in this. Yeah, everybody have to play their role, because bringing up a child in a community is not just the responsibility of the parents alone. It's also the responsibility of the people in the community, the religious leaders and the community leaders and all that. So
thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say you hit the spot right on.
Yeah.
A famous American politician once wrote a book that says it takes a village to raise a child.
That is true.
I think that was actually borrowing from the African cultural experience way back when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Because I remember growing up as a child in Benin City, where if we do anything wrong and our parents are not there, the next door neighbor will come and basically discipline you right on the spot.
Of course.
And then tell your parents when they get home, who would then go ahead and visit another form of discipline, corporal punishment upon you. But those things are no longer occurring today. It appears that in Nigeria today, there is another thing that I say, which is also boils down under the umbrella of what I call culture. And that is that Nigerians today believe that no matter what their infractions, including our political leaders, that once they say, "Oga, abeg," everything should be forgiven. Therefore, you should forgive them. So if a bandit kidnaps a family and, God forbid, kills the family member, if they are caught and they beg, they believe they can beg their way out of it and be forgiven for their crime. Or the resources have been assigned for you to construct a road and you fail to do the job, and you are brought to justice, you are brought to the court of law so that justice can be served. You can now beg or faint at the trial and ask to be forgiven. We say, "Oga, abeg." So this syndrome of "Oga, abeg," which I call a 3-word syndrome, "Oga, abeg," we need to stop it in Nigeria. We need to stop it and say, look, no, you can beg all you want. God will forgive you for the sins that you have committed. But however, for our society to move forward, we must seek atonement. And atonement is in all the great books. It's in the Holy Bible. It's also in the Holy Quran. So it means when you sin against God, you have to atone for your sin. So for instance, if a man decides to come and rob his fellow neighbor or kidnap his neighbor's child and kill the child, well, God can forgive him if he converts or if he confesses his sins. But he should go to jail, and if it is capital punishment that is meted out as part of the judicial process, then he should accept it. We should no longer be in this business of oga abeg, oga abeg. If a driver, for instance, I'll give you this example because there's so much reckless driving in our society. Yeah. You see them driving anyhow, and then they hit your car. What do? They jump down immediately and say, oga abeg, and they expect you to forgive. But forgetting that if he had been responsible and not be reckless, that accident would not have happened. And if you don't forgive, the society will not say, oh, you are a wicked man. That is what I'm trying to say here when I say culture, because we have a culture of permissibility. And he don't beg you now, like you let him go. No. He should have known that it would lead to begging when he was being reckless. So we should be demanding atonement for infractions and leave forgiveness to the God Almighty. And then secondly, I'll say this again. As part of this cultural phenomenon, if we really need to change, the culture of spraying naira, it is a barbaric culture. Yes, it is good to help your fellow man if you are so fortunate to be able to. Put your money in an envelope and present it to them. You can write a check and give it to them. You don't need to be spraying money as if you are a drunken sailor, because what that feeds is it begins to tell others that there is no value for that currency. So they can then go ahead and look for ways, legal or extra-legal or criminal, to acquire that same resources so that they can behave and practice and behave the same way that whoever is praying is doing. And our political leaders should not be left alone on this, in this, because they have also perpetuated this culture. When they come to occasions and begin to spray money and throw money around, we need to use this money to develop our people by creating opportunities for every worker or every young man in that country who is willing and able to work, by saying there'll be universal employment, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that country. We have ideas on how we can create more than 20 million jobs, 20 million jobs every year in that country. Because all you need to do is to put the right policies in place, but of course to have the cultural transformation and new ways of thinking, not thinking, oh, about stomach infrastructure or this is not government work. No, we think of society first. What can we do to improve our country? What can we do at our own level to improve our society? I'm from Benin. I live in Benin all my life. What can I do to improve Benin, Edo State? And again, my larger nation, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. These are the things that we need to be looking at. And every individual in that country has a role in this. The market woman has a role. If you are selling gari, don't try to cheat the market, the person coming to buy gari, by putting some padding the inside so they don't get the right quantity they are buying. If you are a laborer, you are a house builder, a bricklayer, if the man is not there and you're building a house, don't try to shortchange the cement so that he doesn't get what he has paid you for. And if you are an employer of labor, pay the right wages. Do not cheat those you are employing. If you are in the position of government, it is your responsibility to be in charge of public coffers. Make sure that the resources at our disposal, at your disposal, is used judiciously to the benefit of the larger society. These are the things that we need to begin to hold dear and begin to value. Not, oh, this man is a Benin man, therefore whatever he has done is forgiven. No. Accountability, ethics, and integrity. We must begin to value these things as part of the character of the new Nigeria, which can lead our nation forward. And the church, in my humble opinion, the church and the mosque and our traditional institutions can play a vital role in bringing about this new Nigeria that we are praying for, which is a culturally transformed nation. A culturally transformed nation, a nation with citizens that are patriotic, they love their country, they love their family, and they love God. We can do this if our pastors begin to preach the right preaching on Sunday.
The right message,
the right message on Sunday. Yeah. Not sermons about prosperity, We don't need sermons about prosperity. We need sermons about integrity. We need sermons about love of God, the role of a man in the family. We need sermons about integrity. We need sermons about transparency, about hard work. Because the Bible says that when you work hard, the God Almighty will bless your hands, the work of your hands. So we need to begin to preach those kind of things, not that you will just pray, wake up one day and you have a boatload of naira. The mosque can do this, the churches can do this, and our great traditional institutions can also help drive these messages so that people can begin to believe and contribute their own little quota into making our nation, our society great.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. I couldn't ask for more. Many Nigerians, they always blame the government, including myself. We blame the government for everything. The wrongs, everything that is going on in Nigeria today, we blame the government for it. Why do you think Nigerians are first to cast a stone by blaming the government without recourse to themselves? As a Nigerian, I also have a role to play in creating a better society, in creating a society that is fair to everyone. So why do you think we always blame the government for everything? Even though we know that, I mean, the country has already failed us, the society has already failed everyone, but we keep blaming the government without making any changes. So, I mean, why do you think we do that?
Thank you so much. It is natural. It is natural to see the fault in others without looking at the fault in yourself. And also, when you look at the fact that the government of any society, Nigeria is no exception, has a responsibility to provide services to the citizens of that nation. They have responsibility of governance. They have responsibility for collecting taxes. They have responsibility for as custodians of the financial resources of that nation. And Nigeria haven't been blessed with numerous mineral resources. We have trade that leads to resources coming into the country in excess amount of dollars. This money is supposed to be used for infrastructural developments. So when people don't see the development, when people don't see the lights, for example, which is a basic necessity of life, when they see that the roads are failed, when they see that the hospitals are in disrepair, they have a right to say, our government have failed us. That is no doubt. And I agree with that fact, that governments have failed. But the point that I make is that aside from government having failed, if we want government to begin to succeed, because the staff, the personnel that staff the government come from our society. So if we transform our society, the pool of people that will begin to go into governance, into government to serve us will not be a transformed pool of people. And those people will not go with new cultural etiquette. They will not go with integrity. So we'll begin to reap the benefits of a transformed society. Yes, we can blame the government, rightfully so, because that is the first point that you have to, because they have a responsibility to repair our roads. One man cannot repair the road. The government does have that responsibility, and they should be held accountable for that. But we as a people, if we want the government to change, we must begin to change in our own little ways, in the things we do, what we value, not by who we know, not by, oh, this is my townsman. If a Fulani commits a crime, it is still a crime, whether I'm a Fulani or not. If a Yoruba man commits a crime, it is still a crime, whether I'm Yoruba or not. So we must begin to hold everyone to account for their role in the mess that we are in today, both individually and collectively. When we begin to do that, we'll begin to make progress as a society and as a people.
So, so in your own, from your own view, so do you think we Nigerians, we are the problem of Nigeria? We are the problem of Nigeria?
Actually, that is what I have a forum where I discuss with some friends. Yeah. They say, oh man, the problem with Nigeria is our political structure. I said, no. Excuse me, please. There's no problem with Nigeria. The problem with Nigeria are Nigerians. Because if you remove every Nigerian from that country today, and you move all of us to Great Britain, and you move everybody in Britain and put them in Nigeria, the problems that is bedeviling Nigeria now will move immediately to Britain. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I understand.
Our people are the problem. If we transform ourselves and say, no, we will no longer tolerate this kind of behavior. For instance, if you see a man passing feces on the street, just defecating on the street, you should not say, oh, you're not consigning me out. No, go and tell the man, no, you can't do this, because this is a public nuisance. It's a health hazard. I mean, I know there are no public toilets anywhere, but you can go to some restaurants, you can go to somebody that say, please, I need to go to toilet. Can you help me? You allow you to do it there instead of doing it in public place. Or for instance, you just take a shovel and begin to dig across government road. No, we should stop you and say, don't do this. This is a threat to public safety. And then finally, I'll say this again. Why I say Nigerians have a greater role into transforming our country is that even on this issue of security now in Nigeria, every criminal in Nigeria lives in a house, whether he's renting it or he's owned by his parents. The people that live on the same street with him knows that he's a criminal. Every Fulani bandit or Boko Haram terrorist, they live on the street. They have a brother, they have a sister. They are families and cousins. It is the responsibility of those people to inform the authorities to say, we have somebody in our midst who is doing this or doing that. Those things can be done anonymously. So if we want security in our country, we can fix it by people doing their job for Nigeria, not just expecting Nigeria to do this for you, because we are the ones that can change Nigeria and also change our political leadership by changing ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. In my own opinion, I think we have a problem with our attitude, our behavior, our inability to see what is wrong and say it is wrong. These are some of the things from my own experience, because everybody just want to be up there. Everybody just want to, make the quick money, become famous, and let everybody begin to celebrate you. We need to go back to our old way of life. When I say we need to go back to our old way of life, we need to go back to our old way of life, because that was when people were being taught the morality of things you do.
Yeah, moral values.
The moral values of things you do or you do not. I have an upbringing, like when I was very young, there's one thing my father was very strict about: never lie to me. No matter what, never lie to me. On 2 occasions that I lied to my dad. I know the consequences of what I went through. I still have that scar mark on me. Whenever I look at it, it reminds me of my father. Never lie to me. So especially with the generation of today, they do all sort of things. At the end of the day, they blame the government. Just like what you just referred to, somebody urinating on the street, tomorrow it will blame the government that the road is bad. Everybody, just imagine 200 person urinate on the same road.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we need to change our mindset. We need to believe in hard work. We need to make sure when there's anything going on within your community that calls for concerns, yes, you need to inform or alert the authority.
Yes.
You cannot say because it's your brother, it's your sister, therefore it's our thief, it's not your thief.
Exactly. Yes.
It's our thief, it's not your thief. So because of that, we are not going to hand over that person to the authority. Yes. So until we begin to do the right thing, what those before us did that made Nigerian great, we will always continue to complain year in, year out. Because the people in authority we are complaining about today, they are just like you and I, just like I said in my opening speech. They are just like you and I.
Exactly.
Because of the mindset, because of the mentality that everyone had already. So when they move in, when they step out up from one level to another, It's the same. It's the same person. Nothing changed.
Yes, yes.
It's the same person. Nothing changed.
Society, leadership.
So the society. Yeah, the society. We now start. We create a bad society from our various home.
Yes.
Because it's the same mindset that you carry from your house. You know, take to the public offices.
Society, yeah, yes. So society really must assert leadership.
Yeah.
And for society to assert leadership, our society must be transformed.
Thank you.
So that what we don't want in our house, we must not allow our leaders to exhibit it.
Thank you.
I don't want a thief in my house. Therefore, I cannot elect people who will be thieves and criminals to represent me in Abuja.
So we need to revolutionize our way of thinking, our mindset, our attitude.
Yes.
We need to change it. We need for us to have a better society, just like the normal sane society we live in this part of the world that I live or you live in. You know, we need to change our mindset. We need to change everything about us, because the way we are currently living and the way we are going today is going to be disastrous. The kind of generation that will come after us.
Yeah, because you see, I'll tell you this: you cannot have a basket of rotten tomatoes and be expected to find a good tomato inside. It's not possible. You cannot buy a basket of apples in the market, and when you bring it out, you say, well, I hope I find an orange inside it. It's not going to happen. So if you got a mango basket, you're going to get mangoes, not oranges in there. So if we as a society believes and celebrate corruption, our leadership will remain corrupt and non-performing. But if we begin to say no, not just by mouth saying, but by living it through actions and deeds, we begin to do that, we'll begin to transform ourselves and our society. And by extension, we'll begin to transform our leadership. I'll give you an example here, for instance. Just even in a very small place, say in a church. Most churches in Nigeria today are Pentecostal. They are basically a one-man entity where the pastor is the ultimate authority. They are the president, the governor, the financial treasurers, and everything. Now, those churches, there are no accountabilities. Okay? Whatever the pastor says goes. But I'll tell you this, the way we want to fix Nigeria, we start from there. We tell the pastors, or whether it's a mosque or whatever, to say, no. You are the leader, fine. The boss, you can use it, but we need detailed accountability and transparency in how that money or resources that comes from donations from the members will be spent. The same way, local family associations, the Okaigbe's and the village heads, they have funds that comes in. No, don't just allow one man to spend it the way they like, but there should be accountability, there should be checks and balances. I always say this, it's unrelated, but I say the Benin Kingdom, to me, was the greatest experiment in democracy the world has ever seen. Because you had the Oba of Benin, who was the monarch, the traditional institution, and we had the Council of Chiefs, and the what they call the Uzamani. You had the Iyase, who is the Prime Minister. You know, these various organs or various chieftaincy or chiefs, you know, plays roles in terms of the relationship between the monarch, who is the supreme leader of our people, and of course, the other chiefs and vis-a-vis the society. So everybody has a role, you know, the advisory role, the ceremonial role, and of course, the spiritual role and the executive role, which is embodied in the overship of the kingdom. So if as a society, in our little ways, in our churches, in our streets, we do not have those kind of checks and balances, why should we expect it in the public offices, in the governor's house, or in Abuja? If we excuse those things, then those things will also be excused at the government houses.
Thank you so much, my brother. What are your recommendations to Nigerians?
Number one, the way forward is this. If you listen to the complaint of many Nigerians today, you will say that we have hit the critical moment for transformation. At the moment, the objective conditions for cultural transformation in Nigeria are there, but it is not happening. Therefore, we need to introduce an intervention, and such interventions can come in the role of a mass organization, organization that is non-political, but whose objective will be cultural transformation. There was a similar thing that was done in the late 80s by the Buhari Idiagbon government, where there was a massive public relations campaign about telling people to love Nigeria, to do the right thing. Those kind of things will be embarked upon by this kind of organization, mass organization, to re-conscientize the population, to change our mindset, like you said, and the way we think, the way we look at issues, so that we cannot prioritize good governance. We cannot prioritize ethical conduct. We cannot prioritize good behavior. Good behavior. For instance, a tuk-tuk driver, a bus driver just driving somewhere and park at the middle of the road, blocking further movement of vehicles. That is not the proper behavior. So that they begin to know that, oh, those things are wrong. You are impeding somebody else's progress. Not only that, to promote financial literacy and financial transparency. If you are in charge of resources on behalf of others, you spend those resources according to the law, not to enrich yourself. Also to adopt what they call lifestyle audits, so that we don't live above our means. My brother, I don't believe in riches or anything. I'm a very simple person. I don't believe in ostentatious goods. Why should any person be talking on the phone that is worth 500,000 naira when there are children that cannot feed? Okay? Why should you be wearing a shoe that is 1 million naira when there are kids that have no roof over their head? These are things that we need to begin to educate people about in a society, not just only to care for your own children, but to care for the least among us. The church, again, has a very preeminent role to play here, just like the mosque, by the messages that comes on Sunday to the pulpit. They must begin to preach, love thy neighbor as thyself. They must begin to preach about financial literacy, integrity, hard work, the benefit of hard work, not about prosperity. No, we don't need prosperity coming from acquiring wealth overnight, but prosperity that comes from dignity of labor. Value the man that digs the road, the man that comes to pick up the trash. That is hard work, and let them be compensated adequately. Then we need to begin to look at other ways as a society that we can provide gainful employment to our people. We are blessed with tremendous land resources. There are opportunities to create, as I said earlier, 20 million jobs, good paying jobs in that country, just by repurposing our investment, by reorganizing society, and by promoting accountability and personal responsibility. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my brother. It's really my pleasure having you on this program today. Most of the things you've talked about today boils down to, let me summarize it this way. We are our own problem. We need to stop the blame game. We need to stop blaming those in power today, because those in power today they were also like you and I before they were elected into power. It is all about our mindset, our attitude, our upbringing, what our parents taught us as young kids. We need to begin to reorientate the younger generation on the need for hard work, just like what my brother said. Hard work, work for your money. Even if it meant picking the trash from the street, work for your money. The issue of get rich quick by beheading people, using people for ritual, those are not, I mean, it's not Africans. Those shouldn't be, those shouldn't be existing in our modern day society, using people for ritual, using underwear, female underwear for ritual. And also, parents, this is for you. If you have a kid or if you have a child who is 16, 15, 17, under 20 years of age, that comes home with a brand new car, without any meaningful source of income, employment, you should report that child to the authority. That is where we need to start from.
Yes, we must not be celebrated.
No, they must not be celebrated. It is on Africa for someone who has no job, who has no livelihood, just wake up overnight and build a house of, or buy a house of 50 or 50 million. And you, the parents, you'll be very glad to move into that because you have no place to stay, because you live in a tenant rented apartment. You'll be so excited, carried away. These things must stop.
Yes, our culture, yes, is a, you know, if I would just say this, electricity is a big problem in Nigeria. Now, people are being charged electricity bills, but yet they don't get light. That is wrong. But however, if you look at it, it is beyond that. Majority of those who come to collect the bills for those electricity companies, they steal the money. Only a fraction of the money also goes to the companies. I agree that the companies have failed because they were restructured. They have not invested in their infrastructure so they can get more power and then transmit more electricity to Nigerian citizens who are desperately in need of power, both for business and for just personal living. But a lot of the times, people who also owe electricity bills will refuse to pay, but they will give little money to those workers and they continue to get, you know, the sporadic electricity they are getting. So look at it here, the loop here now, the corrupt web, the web of corruption between a failed organization being run by corrupt individuals and the corrupt workers now that goes to corrupt landlords and tenants to say, oh, don't bother to pay, just give me 5,000 naira, and then they reconnect you. But forgetting that by not paying at all, the companies now are not able to recoup enough money to improve infrastructures, the power infrastructures. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So really, we must hit a critical point to say, okay, enough is enough. I have not used any electricity, but you say I'm owing this bill. Guess what? I'm not going to give you anything. Show me the bank account of electricity company, I will pay into it. And then, if the electricity company does not provide you electricity, the community can go and protest at the company and say, give us light, because we have paid our bills.
Thank you so much, my brother. I might have to come in there. We have almost come to the end of today's segment. I'm going to give you 1 minute for your closing statement.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. I will say here that Nigerians are a great people. We are blessed in our diversity. We are a proud people. We have attained a lot all over the world. But at home, we are faced with numerous challenges. Challenges ranging from failed political leadership since inception and challenges of a decadent cultural phenomenon that we need to get rid of, and a culture of permissibility, a culture of anything goes, and a culture of oga abeg for any violation of law. If we get rid of this cultural, what I term cultural aberrance, because this should not be our culture. We didn't used to be like this. And we begin to embrace atonement and demand atonement instead of forgiveness for anybody that violates the law. If you violate the law, you pay the price. Begin to hold our political leaders accountable and then transform ourselves, because once we are transformed culturally, then our new leaders becomes transformed, because we are the ones that we need to change, because we are the change that we seek.
Thank you so much, my brother. We have come to the end of today's segment. It's nice to have you on this program today, and hope to see you in our future program. Our viewers, we thank you. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Till then, remain blessed.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.